BramRadio. Glad you're here. This is part 2, episode number what, Zach? 19. It's not funny for you guys, but it's funny for us because there's a backstory to that. Episode number 19. And if you guys remember last week, for you, it was last week. For me, it was 5 minutes ago. But you see, I'm still wearing same clothes, my favorite T-shirt. And if you noticed, my coach, Craig Baker, is also wearing the same T-shirt. This is his Sublux Jiu Jitsu. You can see it right there if you go ahead and you'll see that. But want to welcome back my coach, Craig Baker, for the second part of our conversation. Woo! So, coach.
Yeah. Mentor.
Oh, man. We have so many inside jokes. What we're doing right now is we're alienating everybody who is like...
Why are you doing that?
On that side of this line.
It's not nice.
Right now. I know it's not that nice, but it's fun here. Yeah. I even do that when I'm speaking at churches or events. Like I'll
Easter eggs.
Yeah. I'll have a buddy sit on the front row or something like that, and I'll put something in there.
Launch it.
And he'll be like, and it's usually something that I'm kind of making fun of him, and he'll be like, I see what you did there. You know, I'm like, that was just for you, buddy. If you don't understand anything that I just said in the last sentence, it's because it wasn't for you. I know I'm alienating everybody except that guy, and then I call him out, you know. It's so fun to do. It's so fun to do.
It is fun. I think that's important, though. Why not?
Yeah.
That shows the connections.
Yeah. And right. Easter eggs are always fun.
Yeah.
You know,
So are footlocks.
Footlocks are so fun. So fun. Unless you're Dio.
Poor Dio.
Poor Dio. That
Dio.
Guy. Man.
Baby giraffe.
He loves footlocks on the left ankle.
Only. Yeah.
Only on the left ankle. Yeah. So if anybody here rolls with anybody named Dio, leg locks.
Left ankle.
Left ankle. He does that. For me, Mike, I'm being yelled at by Zach again, so don't mind me.
Get together, man. Jeez.
Yeah, Zach told me that are we good now? He told me I'm good now. One of the things that I wanted to ask you, how did jiu-jitsu happen for you? Because this is going to be a story that I guarantee that anybody that's in our group, unless it's somebody that you have maybe spent a lot of I'm trying to think of if there's anybody in that group that you probably spent more time with than me in the last few years. And I mean outside, right?
Yeah.
And we've had a lot of conversations. I don't know how many hours we have FaceTiming. You know, sometimes in the middle of the night, you, me, and
sometimes
Cowboy.
The day before Thanksgiving.
Yeah. And then I'm like making turkey. I'm still wearing the same exact thing, you know, that I did the night
11
before.
11 a.m. The turkey was supposed to go on at like probably 8 or 7, right?
Man,
is that the same clothes you have on from yesterday? Yes.
Man, so many.
Sam's in the background shaking his head now, just like he was that night, just like he was that morning.
It's like, you guys are nerds. What started the jiu-jitsu journey for you?
It's the most boring story you're ever going to hear. Nothing. No. I don't, you know, if I were to really maybe peel layers back on that, because I didn't really.
You don't have a jiu-jitsu save my life story?
No.
Yeah.
My jiu-jitsu has probably ruined lives of people. I don't know. I didn't have an influence there. I sort of understood it just by watching fights. Mm-hmm. I have done a lot of different sports and activities, you know, not necessarily professionally or competitive wise. And in some cases, I've done it for the love of it, just trying all kinds of different sports. And I didn't really know what that challenge entailed. I just knew that it was different. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed watching it. But I didn't have one person or one thing or one act that really said I needed to try this.
Yeah.
It was almost the non-prophetic, I walked into a gym story. But it stuck in a big, big way. I mean, it was so challenging.
You remember your first day?
Oh, I do remember that. Yeah.
What happened your first day?
I think I got submitted I stuck around for hours too, like I still do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because
You're the last guy out. You're the last guy out.
I try to be, right? And I'll get to that in a second and why that's important to me. But it was just one of those things where the challenge clicked. And, my mom has been frustrated. She just shakes her head at me nowadays, and she's probably started just shaking her head and not even saying anything by the time I was like 7 or 8. Like, oh, jeez, this kid. And she's better at telling this story than I am, but I was just the kid at 3 months crawling, at 6 months literally walking. But she'll also tell you that I never walked anywhere. I jumped, skipped, hopped, ran. Like, that was just me. And I wanted to try new things all the time. Walked in the gym. And that first day I was cooked. I felt like I was in good shape. I was doing a lot of different other sports at the time, surfing a lot, riding my dirt bike a lot. Playing volleyball a lot, beach volleyball. And a good buddy of mine, Ryan Shooter, and I were doing these things just in rotation all the time, in good shape. And it felt like I hadn't run or done anything athletic in 15 years. After that one session, I went home just wiped, not knowing what happened, really. It was good instruction. You don't get it the first day.
Yeah.
Right? But what I did get is the fact that this was a challenge that I wanted to be a part of.
Was that Throwdown?
Throwdown, yeah.
Wow.
Throwdown, yeah.
Throwdown, which later became Victory.
Correct, yeah. So, and I was there. I wasn't there when they opened. So they already had a fairly good stable of people there. I wasn't there. I was there. Timeline skipping a little bit for me, but I would say probably a year to 2 years after they opened is when I rolled into Victory. But yeah, it was the challenge of the hook and the environment just brought me back to other athletic challenges in my life that stuck for me. I wanted to continue. I wanted to go down that path, and where that kind of goes back to being the last person on the mat. It goes back to some of the stuff we're talking about in part 1, which was it's important for me to have people see where I'm at in terms of being there for them, right? And being able to provide opportunity for a question, for a talk. How many times, just mat talk is important. Somebody goes away that day and it changes their day with a simple conversation or helping them with a movement or a position is big. I'm there, and it's therapy for me to clean the mats when people leave.
Yeah.
Right? And it's almost due diligence for me. I just want to be a part of that for other people.
Yeah.
And not just leave. I want to roll with people. I want to train people. I want to be there. I want them to see me there and know that I'm there for them.
I love that.
It's fun.
You brought your mom up. I want to take a minute and love on your mom because, your mom will, this is so funny. Your mom texts me. It's so funny. It's so cliche.
Wait, what?
But
What? My mom texts you?
What? But she literally does. She will text me sometimes out of the blue, and her timing is impeccable.
Huh.
I'm in the middle of it.
Yeah.
I'm probably on a phone, in a heavy email, having a tough conversation with somebody. All of a sudden, I'll look at it, and it'll her name will come up on my phone, and she'll have a text message. Just thinking about you. Yeah. She's like, hope you're doing well. Love you, buddy. That type of stuff. And I'm just like,
her timing's wild.
I'll text her back. It might take me an hour or two to text her back, but I'll text her back and I'll be like, thank you so much for that text message. You have no idea how much it meant to me that I was in it, and you text me and just show me, just tell me you care about me at the right amount at the right time was awesome. And there's something about moms. I always talk about this on here is I have, at any given time, I have about 5 dads. I have my dad, who is amazing, taught me how to be a man. He taught me about hard work. He taught me what it was like to put the work and put the effort in. He taught me what hardship is. He didn't abandon me when I was going through hard stuff, but he didn't do it for me. He let me handle it, taught me how to handle it. He was a handle it guy. He wasn't a highly emotional guy. He was the guy that taught me through example that emotions don't belong in every circumstance. He was the one that kind of taught me how like the first, like all the stages of being a man, right? Which I will never, ever, he's my hero for that, right?
Yeah.
But then as you grow up and you get out of the house and you go start doing other things, it comes time for, my dad might not be the best business guy. He was not really into business. He was a car guy. He was in ministry. He knew about management and fleet management of large, like, truck fleets and stuff. Yeah, that was his thing, right? From a professional standpoint. He's very creative. But when I grew up and I started going into speaking, well, this guy here was Pastor Greg, Dr. Greg working, was on the podcast, taught me a lot about that. Is also a dad to me. I have other dads that have been in business longer than me. They've been dads longer than me. They've been husbands longer than me. They've been in, ministry longer than me. And so these guys I have a meeting with one of them tomorrow after our we have a podcast tomorrow, recording tomorrow. After that, I'm going straight up to see one of my dads. It wasn't until probably about 4 or 5 years ago, that I started developing also a stable of moms. Now, my mom, amazing, love her to death.
Yeah.
But I have these other moms that are in my life that they call me and talk to me as much, some of them as much as my own mom, which I talked to my mom this morning.
Yeah.
And having these people who are older than me, they've gone before me in life, and now they're kind of in a place where they sit and watch. And they just kind of watch, they watch the younger guys kind of go through it, and they're just like from them. And I was talking to one of them this morning. Her name is Donna Sheldon. I was talking to her, and she'll always say things like, "Have you ever thought about this?" Because we're building a coaching platform right now. When you're building a coaching platform, have you ever thought about this? I'm like, no. It's something that a mom would say. She comes at things from a mom perspective, and I just love that. But your mom, to me, has become a mom to me. Yeah. And that's amazing. So I wanted to just take a second and just kind of love on your mom a little bit, because she is an amazing human being.
Yeah, I'm fortunate,
And she put up with you growing up, and I knew that had to be a handful.
She did. There's a lot of stories of that. Just trouble.
And her husband's a team guy.
Yeah, man. I mean, very, 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 very similar in terms of, the father figure is very fortunate and very important, in any family, I think. But, my real father owned businesses, auto body shops, and did the grind. And before he did that, I think my real father's done every job on the planet, from paving to name it. Hard worker his entire life. I talk to him. He lives in Flagstaff. Anytime I talk to him, I'm building a deck, I'm building a wall, I'm remodeling this and moving that, and bought some new gym equipment, and I'm moving that. The guy can't stop working, right? And so that work ethic is really important. And then my stepfather, who's my father also, have learned so much from him. Once he got out of the teams and did a lot of business, all right, and owned his own businesses and been very successful, to the team ethic and the team mentality and the team drive, and you got to work for it. I'm not handing it to you,
right?
And it wasn't, but I appreciated that. Not at the time. Sometimes, you're like a little bit. I could use a little bit of help.
Yeah.
No, but it wasn't being said or done in a way just to be mean or not help. It was a lesson, right? You don't see it at the time. You're fairly cloudy at different points in your life, and how you see through that is the perseverance, and then speaks to people's character, right? Without reliance on somebody else and those decisions. But yeah, my mom, I talked to her this morning, right? And it's like, my schedule usually is when I'm done teaching or done training, I usually call her on the way home, and
that's awesome.
We talk for a little bit, and then, right to work and do my thing. But she has this unique ability, and I think I've been fortunate to maybe, get a little bit of that, just understanding people and timing. Yeah, with a conversation, doesn't have to be much. Just like you said, a text or a "Hey, how's it going?" A phone call, whatever it is. It's super important, and staying attached with people is really important.
Because I've learned just through life, there's a lot of people I know that they have seemed to begin to distance from their parents.
Yeah,
the older that they get.
Yeah,
it's almost kind of like what is that Cat Stevens song? The Cats in the Cradle. Is that Cat Stevens? You have a song I'm talking about? Yeah. You don't.
Yeah, I know.
Anyway, you guys know what song I'm talking about.
I'm not old enough.
But if you okay, if you listen to the words of that song, it's like, hey, when can we play ball, Dad? Hey, when can we spend time together? And he's just like, hey, we'll play soon. We'll get, but I'm really busy.
Yeah.
And then the son grows up, and then the dad's like, hey, son, can we hang out? Can we do this? And he goes, I'd love to, Dad, but I'm really busy. You know what I mean? And so when you have that, when you understand that that's what you're working against. As men, we're overscheduled, we're over-medicated, we're have caffeine, over-caffeinated.
Sure.
We're over-inundated with data, everything flying at you, everything overstimulated, everything overstimulated, like all this stuff that's happening. Sometimes it's good to just detach from it all, put the social media down, turn the TV off,
right?
Put down the distractions just for a minute, and begin to focus on the relationships that really matter. Call your mom and tell her that you care about her. Call your dad and tell him that you're grateful for what he taught you, and all these things. And that is something that I try to do. In fact, I spent 5 years. I completely shut my social media out for 5 years because I looked at my analytics and I saw. I looked one day. I spent 23 minutes a day looking at other people's what they had for dinner last night and their cat pictures. And I was like, this is ridiculous. What am I doing? So I spent that time over the course of a week, 23 minutes a day. That's a couple hours a week. I spent that time handwriting a letter, and I would handwrite a letter, and then I would send it to somebody that I care about
via pigeon.
What's that?
Pigeon
with a pigeon. Mm-hmm. Yep. They have mail trucks now.
It's good.
but it represents the time that I spent. And they would always say the same thing. It wasn't so much about the content of the letter.
You took time to write a letter.
You took time to write the letter.
Right.
I can't believe that you did that. I'm like, well, you mean a lot to me. And so that there was a lot of relational development that happened through that season of me not having the social media. Now with this going on and the other stuff that I'm doing, you got a social media there, and now it's now it's me and Sam sitting there sometimes at night in different parts of the house, sending each other,
sending messages,
sending each other like social stuff that we see on Instagram, raccoon videos.
Yeah, those are great. Trash pandas.
I was like, I want one.
Yes,
I want a raccoon, dude. That is awesome. Trash pandas.
Yeah, they are awesome. I like them.
But it's that when you have people that are parents or parental figures, take a minute and care about them, spend some time and let them know that.
I think people get stuck in the idea that takes a lot of effort, but they don't understand the gain on the back end.
Yeah.
Right. And so to send that message or make that phone call.
Oh, that's so true.
Step out for 1 second of the door, away from the computer. I can't. Right. But they don't understand that effort's actually far less. To me, it's almost like people that focus on being negative. That takes way more effort.
Oh my gosh.
Way more effort. It's so easy to say hi to somebody on the street, to wave, to nod. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Way easier to change their day. Oh man, this guy said hi at the store, and turns out, right, maybe it ends up in a story.
Yeah.
And my wife will get on me for that sometimes because I'll talk to people. She's like, man, you will talk to anybody. I will. I don't care. I'll talk to anybody. I mean, because maybe I'll learn something. I hope I do, or just a cool story or something. But it takes way less effort to do that, and way less effort to send the message, make the phone call, than it does not to. Because then in your head, now you're making excuses for it.
Yeah.
And that time that takes and the toll that takes, I think, on somebody in a negative way.
I don't think I ever heard somebody say when they were towards the end of their life, man, I wish I would have spent more time at work. I wish I would have spent more time on social media. I wish I would have spent more time binge watching the Tiger King. Guilty. Did it.
Did you really?
Oh, man.
I didn't watch any of that. I thought it was hilarious.
Did.
I mean, I understood what it was, followed it a little bit, but
it was me and my godson stayed up and watched. We watched the first 2 episodes, and we were just like, "This is
stuck on it."
This is ridiculous."
Oh,
Right?
Okay.
We're gonna give it one more. All right, one more, and then that, and like pretty much a whole bottle of Macallan's later, we got through the entire thing, and we were at the end of it. We're like, that got dark fast. That went down a dark road. I mean, dark road, to the point where like there's no way that just happened. Like this is so. At the end of the day, who knows if it was real? Who knows? I don't care. I was dive into that. The entertainment value was present there. Sure. But that's probably one of the last things I really binge watched. But nobody ever died. Nobody, I think, ever got to the end of it and said, at the end of their life, and said, you know what? I wish I would have done that. You know, I could think of 1,000 times in my life where I probably could have been a better steward of my time.
And just even peel that example back, right? You're spending time with your godson.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
that's true.
Whether it's some.
Yeah.
Have you seen it? Have you guys seen it? No. But you're right. I mean, you can't pull that time back. You can't pull that effort back. Mm-hmm. But you can add a little extra effort to do that. Just like, I think it was Jimmy May that said that to you. It takes a little more effort to stand up on your feet. Yep. And not to look a certain way.
You know, hey, that's a really good thing to get into, because valuable lessons that you learn on the mat. I had just finished a round with him, and he had just I was 2 months, 3 months in.
He doesn't have to say much to you, but when certain things he says, they hit hard.
Yeah. And he just, he freaking ragdolled me, dude, for the whole 5 minutes. Yeah. And got done. I was just on the mat. You know, and he's like, "Hey, get up, dude." And so I get up and I'm mouth breathing, and he just touches me on the chin. He's like, "No, close your mouth." He goes, "Dude, come. It takes just a little more effort to look like a team guy." You know, and I was just like, "Burn." Yeah, that hurt deep. Yeah. And so over the course of time, like I took that on so hard that now it's like I get done with whatever match, I always, win or lose, I always try to get to my feet first.
Yeah.
When there were times after that where, fast forward 2, 3, 4, 5 years, where I would be on the mat with Jimmy and he'd be on the other side of the mat, and I would see him just leaning against the wall. He might be mouth breathing. I'll be like, "Hey." And he'll be like, he doesn't like,
he acknowledges.
Dude, absolutely. That's Jimmy though. Jimmy is like, he's got that part. You can't offend him with that.
Yeah.
He used to be, he'll point at me, he'll be like, "Absolutely. Noted. Won't happen again." You know, that type of stuff. That's what I love about Jimmy. He's so like, such a, like he'll say it.
Yeah.
His son the other day said something. His son told him, Riker, how old is Riker? 8? 9? He was like, "Dad, I need you to do better." They were building a beehive with a nail gun.
Yeah.
And Riker's like, "I need you to do your job better, Dad." And Jimmy was like,
"Okay.
Check." What do you, because they were building the hives. Yeah. They were putting there's like these little frames that you got. It's kind of like a honeycomb thing in the middle, and the frame's got to go on it. Jimmy was pressing them together and handed to Riker, and Riker was working the nail gun. And Jimmy wasn't pressing them together, I guess, enough, and Riker was having to push them together even further. He goes, "Hey, Dad, I need you to
do this.
Come on, dude. You need to square yourself away.
Tighten it up a little bit."
And Jimmy was like, check, you know? So that was a big lesson for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. For that was, for me, because I like a lot of guys have a tendency when you're in a new environment, kind of like looking around, like, how do I fit in here? And you start, instead of like going in and instead of being a thermometer, go in there and be a thermostat.
Sure.
So that's what I started doing with the Baker's Dozen folks, is that people know, hey, you're sucking hind tit right now and you're trying to figure life out. Go over and talk to Bram.
Yep.
Go. He'll help you out. I cannot tell you how many of those conversations I've had on the mats with people that are they're on their last leg of whatever, like
trying to figure something out.
Yeah. Happens all the time.
Yeah. There's lessons everywhere. And I mean, you have to open yourself up to that, right? So you have to align yourself with the fact of change, right? We talked about that in part 1. Like, how do you, if you don't allow that to happen, that's not going to, right? And on the mats, you have to change. I mean, your mindset has to change. I mean, I'm the first. I'll get right back on my feet, and we're starting on our feet. That's where we're starting, and everybody knows that, and they know that's how I run my program too. We're starting on our feet. Okay, if we've got way too many people for the mat, okay, right? I'll give or concede a little every once in a while, but otherwise, no. Let's go. Get up. I don't care. I mean, and rolling with people that are way better, collegiate wrestlers and stuff like that. I owe you that respect. Even though I wasn't a wrestler, I'm still going to get on my feet because, hey, if you're better at me than that, great. I want to learn still. I'm not at a point that I'm ever going to stop learning anything, especially that sport.
Yeah.
Forever, right? I'm constantly learning, constantly adapting, constantly changing, creating, and, that's what I love about it a lot.
How do coaches learn, though? Because sure, you can go up to the NorCal and there's going to be a whole bunch of like super high level guys that are going to show up for your clinics. They're showing up to learn from you and they're probably doing a little bit of checking you out, making sure you get,
of course.
But you go up to do a clinic up there and people come out of the woodwork because they have heard about your style of jiu-jitsu, which having been to multiple gyms around the country now and going and I'm in this town, I'm just going to go and train over here.
Yeah.
And I go into these gyms and it's a completely different culture. As soon as they find out, they ask, where do you train? San Diego. Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Wait, where do you train in San Diego? Victory. They're like, seriously? Everybody knows the gym that we come from. But as a coach, right? So for me to get out and I can go and learn a little bit from this guy, a little bit from that guy, a little bit from this guy. But as a coach, how do you get to learned more because you're just rolling with me and it's the same people all the time? Like, how do you grow?
Flexibility and creativity. It goes back to that. I mean, that's a huge part of my foundation. And I would say that taking myself back to purple belt, I'd say I wasn't finding the growth, right? And jiu-jitsu is full of plateaus. Life's full of plateaus, right? And that's always a big question I get from people, students specifically. Like, I'm stuck in this rut, right? Stuck on this plateau. I'm not getting better, not recognizing everything around them is changing as well, especially in the sport. Other people are getting better, and they're hitting a different peak than you are, right? And we're not traveling at the same pace through this at all. And it's one of those things where I get better through the flexibility of my mind and my ability to translate what's happening, and that's how anybody gets better. In my opinion, that's how you drive that needle forward. I learn from the first day white belt
because there's very few people that are at your level of jiu-jitsu. It's a very high level of jiu-jitsu, but it's so unique that it's very hard to duplicate. I have taken on a lot of that, right? That jiu-jitsu DNA. Max has it. Yeah. There's a lot of other guys, even in our warm-ups. I was like the down block. You have this little quirky thing that you do, like with you when like kind of like a little bit of
foot switch,
foot switch, back step a little bit. I'm watching this morning. I was watching it because I was over in the corner just doing push-ups and sit-ups because I can't walk that well right now because my knees are all smashed up. But I was watching these guys do it. I was just like, look at all these little bakers around here doing the
doing the same thing.
Everybody's doing the same thing, and it was awesome to see.
That's cool,
right? But anyway, So learning wise for you, how do you chase levels? Levels, not like tangibles, right? I'm talking like in your mind levels.
Yeah, levels. I think it's the same at any belt level. Meaning, how did I apply this action today that made a difference, or did it not make a difference? How do I need to change that, right? And I honestly, like, it also seems cliche. How do I learn from first day white belt? Well, they are some of the most unique people because they don't move traditionally. And I know I preach this a lot too, but I think people get stuck in this predictable jiu-jitsu. What I do is I force you into positions meaning I'm giving you what you think is an out, but I already know you have one option, right? Working today off the back, right? If I do my roller coaster defense or I do a specific defense, I'm doing it with the purpose of knowing that from the back, you're very difficult for you to get the choke. Maybe you can't get the reverse triangle. I mean, we can name the submissions off the back. The out that I'm giving is the potential arm bar. I gave you one out. That's it. But I know that. I did that purposely. And so I think that my growth doesn't have to be with somebody far better than me, far bigger than me, far stronger, faster. My growth happens with the kind of in a sense, the trickery, right? Understanding the game more so, understanding the positioning more so, which is why I focus on the body more. I focus on the position. I focus on the anatomy of the body, because I can show you 100 different arm bars. If you can't apply it, right? What does it matter? It doesn't matter, right? And it only takes a couple pounds to break an elbow if you do it right. I mean, you put a 7, 8-year-old on your arm and say, go. If they have proper technique, you better tap. You just better tap, right? That's just how that works. But you have to apply that the right way. And people, I think, miss that, which is why I focus more on the positioning and more on isolation of certain parts of the body, knowing where you can articulate your arm, your elbow, your wrist, your head, your knees. I talk a lot about pivot points. If I take a pivot point away from you, you can't bridge on that. You can't move on that, right? You can't put your head to the mat. You can't bridge. You can't put your shoulder to the mat. You can't come up on the shoulder. You can't go to turtle. If I have that, pick that elbow from side control. Those things are the important positions or situations that lead to you only having so many options. And so that's my focus in growth. And it doesn't matter who I'm with. And again, going back to that one day, they don't know. They have not become predictable yet. I think, which is the problem with jiu-jitsu. People become predictable because you have a set of rules in a sense. And that's not a mistake from any other school, the way they teach it. But people fall into this set of rules now. And the rules are, this is what you can do in this position. And I don't follow those set of rules.
No, you don't. And that's why I'm laughing, because as you were talking about that, I was like going, I need an example of, there's one.
I stay away from the rules of conventional jiu-jitsu to be unpredictable.
We were doing wall work one day, and you had your feet planted kind of out a little bit, head right underneath my jawline right here, and I was just like, and so I kind of wiggled out a little bit, and I used my head, and I just started using my head to push your head down.
Because he doesn't have a neck.
Yeah, there's no neck here.
There's no neck. It's just like one muscle from his back up to the base of his skull.
I was just pushing your head down, and then finally I got enough of a stuff.
Yeah.
And I got down far enough, and then just collapsed, and then dropped my shoulder, like right on the back of your head, got around there, and then I got an overhook.
Yeah.
Right. And then I was like, I'm getting him off the wall. And all I was going to do is just turn you around and put you on the wall.
Yeah.
But you drove forward enough. And I was just like, okay, cool. We can do this. And so then I just put enough weight on. And so you went down, and you were kind of tripoded, but you had one knee, and you had a hand down. And I was like, got it. You went from, I knew, I was just like, I'm going to bait him. So I kind of like switched things up a little bit. So you had your sit through side. You know what I'm talking about, don't you?
I do.
And you did a sit through.
Yep.
But you went to the side that I had weighted.
Yep.
And you shot through there. So I just let you go and just started walking away.
He did. He didn't even like turn around and look at me. He just walked away. Wasn't always the other side of the mat. He turns around.
He shot. He's like, I just started walking. I'm just shaking my head like, of course he. So that's what I mean. But he doesn't follow the rules. He doesn't like when you have this position, you're supposed to do this submission or this one or this one. There's like maybe 4 directions you can go. And he's got like 9, and he's not going to choose any of those 3.
It's the little stuff, just the like that, right? The sit-throughs. I may have seen, or it may appear that I have one option, one way to go. But in my head, I'm constantly doing little movements, right? And you don't know which way I'm going to go. And that was, I remember that day, I just pull out the back door, and you're like, really? That was not where you're supposed to be, because you had the pressure on that side, which would have, to most people, been the side not to go. Mm-hmm. But I staged the opposite side briefly to get some posture movement, and then I was gone on the heavy side. Yep. And yeah, I like to break the rules in jiu-jitsu in that regard, right? You know, how do you break the body down into positions that you can remove a high percentage value of that person's ability? How do you do that? Well, you have to break. If somebody's twice as strong as you, how do you break that down? You break that down by twisting, right? You know, getting the upper and lower body, detaching that, not detached, but you know, turning the legs one way, turn the upper body the other way, right? You can start to take the power away. Yeah. Right? The head, where the head goes, the body goes, neck position, high things like that. Yeah.
Micah buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can roll with that guy, man. You have to do that.
Yeah.
He's such an awesome dude.
Yeah, he's awesome. Yeah. I got to see him.
Did you?
Yeah, it's awesome.
Did you train with him?
Didn't, man. I had a great time up there. I basically Shark Tanked myself, I think, up there. Just hit round after round after round after round. It got to the point where I have not depleted myself that hard in a long time, where my legs are starting to cramp. I'm like, okay.
Everybody's saying that.
Yeah, but it was.
I want to go up there. I want to go up there with you at some point.
You got to. Yeah, there's
Jake and High Road.
Awesome crew up there of people up there, and they're doing good work, and they've got a cool culture up there, and building a really good program up there, which I'm totally stoked for them to do that. And
where's that at? Northern California, Yuba City.
Is that
Northern California or is that Central Valley?
Northern. It's like 40 minutes north of Sacramento, of the airport.
Yeah.
It's like 40 minutes north. Yeah. So Yuba City, Marysville area, I think north of that. And I don't know my Northern California map that well. I know it further west with Kaiser Permanente, but I think it's Oroville further north in that area. East is Tahoe. Yeah. So they're up there. They're up there a little bit. Yeah. But yeah, I just try to be unpredictable, really, in my movement and my style. And we've got the D series.
The D series, that's right.
And that gets referenced quite a bit, especially when we've got our vagabond Raul, who goes to different gyms and uses it. Yeah. He goes to a lot of different gyms, which is awesome too. I mean, he tunes people up, which is good. It's fun to see his style mixed with my style, and how long he's been training and what he does out there, which is good.
I remember my first interaction with Raul. We were over on the other mat, on the stairs side.
Yeah. Okay.
And it was before we were starting, and he went over there and just ragdolled me I'd been doing jiu-jitsu for 3 weeks, I went over there and just freaking beat me up. And then we're walking off the mat, and I was like, man, I had experienced something like that before, and I was like, dude, you're like fast and strong, like that was crazy.
Neither of those are in the same sentence.
When you're brand new to jiu-jitsu, everybody's faster and stronger, and we were walking off each other. He's like, that's the point. Like he was like super smart. I was just like, really? Got it. So cool. Right. You're an asshole. Got it. But he's not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's not. And so it's like I've then got to know him over the years. He's one of my favorite people, man.
Yeah.
I love that guy. And he does care about teaching. He loves to teach.
Yeah.
And it's and he's good at it. All 90 steps.
All
90 steps for the Americana. I mean, it's
his
like
jiu-jitsu katas.
You need every single one of those steps to hit that Americana.
Yeah, by that time I had lunch.
Hey, Raul.
And went out for a drink. Came back. He was still working on his steps.
Yeah.
It's cool to see the growth. And that gets me a lot. I love seeing the growth. And that's why it's really important, with promotions too. I want to say something about everybody. It may take a little extra time, but I notice sometimes, like we'll be over class time, and people are still there, and people want to be. They're not walking off the mat, especially when stuff like that's going on.
Yeah.
And it's important for me because the value add from them is massive, and it's cool to see that growth too. You see a lot of times when you may be on the fence as an instructor, you're on the fence of promoting, right? And I touch base with you and other people and say, hey, how's training going for this person? And so I will roll with them. I'll train with them. I see you guys and girls train with them, and try to calibrate where that person is at. And my hope sometimes is if they're just almost on the cusp, sometimes a promotion will drive. Now it's a different level of motivation. They've hit a goal, if that was a goal, or at least another waypoint in that journey that helps them drive harder. Sometimes it doesn't, right? There's a blue belt-itis. It's funny where you get blue belt and that's as far as people go and they quit, which is why black belts are becoming more common these days. The sport's growing, more schools, more people out there, more people really dedicated to doing the sport, but it is still a hard thing to achieve versus other martial arts. But it's once they get past that point and then understand the value of what they're doing, and something you've heard me say thousands of times, it's not just about your ability on the mat and how well you can choke somebody out or getting gold medals in a tournament. For me, to promote means much more. How can you teach somebody something? How do you communicate? How do you relate? How do you continue to build this culture that we've built in this, if you want to call it a brand? It's not a brand. It's just really just being able to keep that sort of magic going and keep people engaged and wanting to come back. That's a part of how I promote, right? Timing grade, don't care. Do not care, right? Some schools are like that. I respect it, 100%. I absolutely respect it. It's just different for me. So the question of sometimes how long before I can get this belt, right? Or get stripes and things like that. I'm like, well, there's a lot to that. Yeah, right? There's a lot to that. How are you doing outside of the gym? Not that that's necessarily a factor, but if you're bringing it into the gym, it becomes a factor. So how do you manage that outside life? Because I don't want to build somebody who's going to do the wrong things with what I'm teaching. Yeah. Which can very well easily happen. And it has happened in the sport. Somebody's very well trained, does some bad things. I don't want that to happen. I want to, do those sound checks along the line to make sure that what's happening is the right thing.
I think that every brand has its thing. Every brand, like
flavor, right?
Yeah, like Nike's a brand, right?
Sure.
Or Adidas is a brand, or Vans is a brand. Well, inside the brand is going to be the culture. There's got to be the clicks.
Sure.
There's going to be like the social movements that are going to happen. So I think that inside of Victory, there's
brands.
There's different. Inside of that brand, there's different cultures.
Sure.
That's how I'd look at it.
Yeah.
And yours is the morning crew, and that Subluxt, which I think it really does explain in one word your style of jiu-jitsu. I think that's why it works so well. And Jake taking that on and doing doing his thing up there with your brand, So because when somebody has their reason, whatever it may be, is like the new thing for podcasters and social media influencers and everything else. It's like, oh, what's your why? Yeah. But when you have your reason, there's got to be you're employing a tactic or a strategy of some point of for some reason to be able to gain something that's going to benefit you in another area of life. Otherwise, if you're just going to do, you don't go to the gym and work out just so that and just to benefit you for that hour. No, that carries you out through the whole day, and hopefully through the remainder of your life, you can lead a more full life. And
Right.
And that's one of the things that for me, I think that jiu-jitsu does bring to the table is that there are so many added benefits outside of just being the 2 hours that we spend on the mats.
Yeah.
Every day.
I mean, you could. I'll even say it sometimes in my business. Look, what are you going to say that's going to hurt my feelings or offend me? Beyond the fact that my really good friends have just tried to murder me this morning. I cannot get offended. I'm not going to get riled up. I'm not going to let this bother me.
Yeah.
Right? Whether it's like, I don't want to do this conference call. I don't want to, have this conversation or whatever it is. It's okay. Great. I mean, I can't turn my head left because my neck got cranked on today. Right?
It's so good. I've had it, and I think I said it to you too. I remember when Morgan came in here one day, and I was walking around introducing to people, and they're like, "So you're one of his training partners?" I said, "Yes, one of my training partners, Morgan."
Yeah.
Like, do you take Venmo? Do you take something like that?
I've gotten those requests. I've been around here a couple times and gotten those requests, special requests. Yeah.
Oh, you're the one.
I was the special request.
You were the special request. Like, yeah, I'm taking requests.
Yeah.
Give me something.
What do you want? What do you want?
Yeah. I was like, okay, we're leaving. So I was like, oh, you know who it was? It was Nick in accounting. That Craig was like, so you kick Bram's ass? Craig was like, yes, I do. He's like, hey, Craig's like, I'm taking requests if you like to make a request. And Nick's like, yes, please.
It's funny.
So good. And you remember Eric? It was Nick and Eric in accounting. Eric's a Muay Thai guy, but he also trains Jiu Jitsu.
Got it.
And so I told him that about, hey, because I don't remember how we got on the guard pulling conversation. But I said, yeah, you don't come into our place. Pull guard. Nah, you'll get wadded up pretty good.
Everybody will say something too. I mean, you notice how people call each other out?
Oh yeah,
which is perfect. It's awesome. Like, hey, coach.
Yeah,
coach.
Nam just pulled guard. Sorry, Nam. I don't know why he just said that.
I was gonna say Dio, but
Dio.
Yeah,
Dio did pull guard. Nam has never pulled guard. At least not on me. I've never seen it. No. So I'm sorry, Nam. Nam. Oh, dude, we got that one, Nam.
Yeah,
but so Eric will send me memes now all the time.
Guard pulling.
Guard pulling. Yeah. Guard pulling memes.
Butt scooting.
Oh, and I usually send them forward to you. I told him, like, I just sent that forward to
it drives me nuts.
To Craig. Yeah.
Those are funny. Actually, those are really funny.
Yeah.
Those videos.
Again, though, it goes back to culture. It's not the culture.
Yeah.
I did a tournament once, and I found the guy that I was going to be I had a match with.
Oh, right.
And I was watching him from the stands. I was looking over the mats to the other side, and I saw him over there with about 10 other guys, and they were just kind of lining up, and he was just doing different things, but they were all from a guard pull. He was pulling guard on every single one of them, and I was like, and so I walked around, went over to him. I just tapped him on the shoulder. He turned around, just went, and walked away. And Robin watched me the whole time. By the time I got back,
exactly.
Oh yeah, she was just like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "This guy is getting in his head." I said, "How long did he watch after I walked away?" She said, "He watched the entire time." But then you remember him?
Yeah.
When we did the match, he had nobody in his corner.
Right.
All those guys weren't there. Not one of those guys was there for him. And after our match was done, I went over to him, just gave him a hug, and I just said, "Dude, where's your corner?" And he was like, "That's a fantastic question." And I said, "Want to come over? Switch gyms, man. Come on over here. You'll always have somebody in your corner."
Yeah.
I said, "Do you see how many people I had in my corner? My coach was there. Like
training partners.
Training partners were there. Team guys were there. My kids were there. It was everybody was over there. Taylor was over there.
Yeah.
Everybody was over there. It was and he's like, yeah, he goes, like, I noticed that you had
crew
people,
crew rolled in.
I said, that's how we do, dude.
Yeah,
that's how we do.
Well, I mean, I can't say it enough. Like, I know when I'm not there, stuff's rolling, right? And I got to travel for work every once in a while, or commitments outside of training and teaching. But I know, like, it's a simple text, and I'll text you and Raul and Kobe especially, Nam, and just say, hey, I can't make it. Got it. Done. Yep. Right? And it's going to roll. It's going to move on. Yeah. And it's going to, the environment's going to continue. The training's going to continue with a different flavor, but it's still the same foundation. Yeah. It's the Baker's Dozen foundation that's built upon with everybody's own style, which they should have.
A lot of people say, jiu-jitsu saved my life. At this stage of my life, it's like running's not an option for me anymore.
I could tell.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm just kidding. That knee looks pretty bad.
It's bad right now. I gotta go and have it. I know it's gonna be surgery.
Open it up.
But everything is. Yeah, everything's just loose in there. It's like a cartilage running around, just meniscus, parts of my meniscus, just running around, and it's just to the point to where it's like it takes me forever. I use the elevator.
Oh,
this morning in the house to go. I went down the elevator into the garage, got in the car, went to jiu-jitsu, came back, rode the elevator back up. It's my first time ever doing that due to an injury. But I was still on the mats.
Yeah,
I was still there, and it's not changing. That's part of my lifestyle. It's what happens. Jiu-jitsu did not save my life. Jiu-jitsu added to my already life. I am a very wealthy man when it comes down to my relationships and the people that I have, the friendships that I've gained as a result of jiu-jitsu. Thanks to you and the other people that are there every day, have added to it significantly. There are a handful of things I'm most grateful for in my life. I am most grateful for my family and the people that I call my tribe, my brothers like you. I am very grateful for my salvation that I have, that I know that when I die, I know exactly where I'm going. I am grateful for that. And I'm grateful for jiu-jitsu. And that is, to me, has been a life changer. So on my belts, every time I get promoted, I always put your name on it, and then I put the date that it was that you put it on me. But my white belt doesn't have your name on it. It has Jimmy May's name on it.
Yeah.
And it has the date that he said that to me.
Yeah.
The date of the challenge.
Yeah.
What's weird is that on those belts, those dates are all about within a week of each other.
Really?
Yeah. By chance, all those belts are within about a week of each other. And but I am grateful for that day that he challenged me. A lot of men these days don't respond to a challenge well.
Yeah.
They're gonna shy away from it. They don't like a challenge because it's gonna cause them to be uncomfortable. The thing that I think that I've learned the most from jiu-jitsu is be okay being uncomfortable.
Right.
It's going to suck, but did you die?
But did you die?
Nope.
Yeah.
And so, and along with that, I am highly grateful for you.
Likewise.
And I am, and what you have taught me, like on the mat.
I didn't teach you.
In all seriousness, what you taught me on the mats, because being kind of a deeper thinker, I take what I learn on the mat and I always try to apply it up in life. There's a lot of different places to apply it.
There is. Yeah. I think the translation that you just made is probably pinnacle for me as well. The importance of it, the drive and the challenge of it initiated as a challenge and then turned into a path. And that path has led me to be a better man, I think, in a lot of ways, really, because of the thought process that's required to train. And that could be training in a lot of different things, right? Different sports and things like that. But the thought process in jiu-jitsu is that level of thinking is high, required, right? The emotional IQ and EQ, and we've talked about this a lot, both required.
Yes.
Social side of that required, because there is an etiquette still, right? To an extent, there's an etiquette. And then that translation goes to how do you treat people on and off the mat? Like, how do I teach, or how do I work with my training partners, right? How do I treat them?
Yeah.
That translates to how you treat people outside in a lot of ways. Right? Do I take that submission too far? Why did I do that? Why did I take it that far? Just because I'm angry? That's dumb. It's a dumb reason to hurt my friend, right? And it's a dumb reason to go outside and hurt somebody else, right? You don't need it to go there. And, with my business or in business, it translates for me, the ability to maneuver a conversation the right way with people.
Yeah.
And how to develop trust Okay, through a certain strategy, right? How do I make that operational? I'm known a lot of times for calls, conference calls. When they hear music, they know I'm on the call. I love music. I love all kinds of different types of music, but they know I'm there. You know what's funny is that simple little thing changes. Everybody's jumping on calls, from one call on to the next. Busy. Okay, I get all this call. Got to have this conversation. I hope it doesn't go over. Instead, now, I love that song. Craig's on the call.
Yeah.
Right? It was almost instantaneous, right?
Or hearing some stick figure.
Stick figure, man. I love all kinds of music. A lot of blues, and I'll play. But yeah, stick figure is a good one for me. But you just find those little things. Just like, part one, we're talking about find one thing about another person, whether you have that as an in common thing or not, creates an opportunity. And that opportunity is to open up, have a conversation, right? And
love it.
It makes it fun. Because that's a different challenge, right? It's a different kind of challenge there.
We had a little incident, right, at Victory where we had a little fire.
Got a little hot around there.
Got a little hot around there, and so we had to figure out what to do. So everybody just kind of, we all got together and trained at my house.
Yeah,
and which was interesting because I have the mats, and it's a little larger than normal garage, so we can have a 2-car garage space that's all matted out, but still have room around the outside for people to sit, and there's gym equipment around the side, and so people are hanging out, and we're in there one day, and this guy's walking his dog, and he comes by, and he's just in a pair of shorts, and he has a T-shirt on, and he's wearing his flip flops, and he said, "Hey, are you guys training here like regularly?" It's like, wow, we're from Victory. He goes, "I train at Victory.
Yeah.
Can I join you guys?"
Yeah.
And he came in, and Ari, his wife Rachel, and now they're a part of the crew. And that was just 2 months ago, maybe 3 months ago.
Not even.
Victory's
been down maybe a month. Isn't that crazy?
Really? That's it.
3 weeks.
Ever.
Maybe a month. I think they've been down a month. Maybe a month and a week. Yeah, I'd have to go back and look at that. But yeah, not long.
So so the very next week he started training with us, and Rachel started training with us in the garage, and then made the move over to the temporary spot,
mm-hmm.
and and he's been there every day. So it's so good to see him. And so the other day, so whenever we're not, so like Tuesdays and Thursdays, or if I can get back in time, Robin, when I'm out training or we're not training, every day she goes on a 5-mile run. And I'll get on a mountain bike and just chase her down because I'm obviously not running, not with these getaway sticks. And the other day, you know the hill we live on.
Yeah.
So my favorite thing to do is to bomb that hill. And my challenge is to take the first right.
Oh, yeah.
But no brakes. No brakes on the hill.
I was going to say, do your brakes work?
The brakes do work.
I can see them not working.
Fairly new mountain bike.
There's a lot coming down the hill.
I have had about enough of his fat jokes. They come in so many ways, shapes, and forms, and you guys aren't even here. But he's fat jokes just nonstop.
I'm just surprised they got brakes on that bike.
I'm impressed, actually, how he sneaks them in. Right? All the time. This is. Oh, he'll be on the mat teaching.
Yeah.
40 people around. And he will find a way to lob a fat joke at me while he yells. I mean, this might work on most people, and he'll look over at me.
Or most people that have necks. Right. Most people that have necks.
Unless you're Bram. In fact, Bram, come here. Let's figure this out. This works on fat guys.
Sometimes I got to problem solve on him because it doesn't work on him.
But these guys have been a part.
Yeah, it's been fun. Great ass. I love having them there.
Dude, they're amazing people, and they were right in my neighborhood. They live walking 45 seconds from my house, and never knew that they.
Isn't that crazy? There. Put a couple mats out.
So my point of that is
around.
You can just put a couple mats out, start like beating each other up, and then it draws people.
Yeah.
And how many times we've been, even during COVID, we'd be training in the garage, me and Morgan and Junior and Jimmy.
Yep.
It'd be the 5 of us in there, maybe Ricky.
Yep.
We're there, just Alex.
Mm-hmm.
We're there beating each other up, and there are people driving by, stopping and just looking in the garage.
Hey, who are these?
or my neighbors like hearing Junior yelling and screaming, and that he was our home alarm clock. So Robin knew what time to get up because she could hear Junior yelling down in the garage.
Yeah.
The neighbors going for walks, they just stop and they're just like, what is happening? Robin goes on a run. She's at the bottom of the hill before she comes up, and she's like, I can smell you guys at the bottom of the hill. We're like, yes. But there's something about that culture of jiu-jitsu in general.
Sure.
You walk down the street and you see somebody that's got ears.
Sure.
Like these, right? And they're like, first question, where do you train?
Where do you train? A lot of times,
it's you instantly have a connection that is, so you already have a common thread. So you're starting from a position of, I know something about this guy. Yeah. I know that he's good with adversity. I know that he's good in a stressful situation. I know he's a thinker. I know that he does not have ears like that.
He's gone through that challenge to some extent.
Yeah.
And that's big. Makes it fun.
Mm-hmm.
You probably had the same conversation with my wife. It was, if your ears get bad, we will transplant them.
Yes.
Do not. And I'm like, well, how bad is bad?
I had the same conversation.
But, yeah. And then you started wearing headgear, and that went well.
That went well for me.
Yeah.
Wrestling headgear and him, it doesn't work well.
It's a piece of gear. It's a piece of equipment that I use.
He ended up using, like, he literally drugged me across the mat. He's like, oh, you gonna wear that? So he waited till I was in turtle position and then grabbed the headgear and just started walking. And it was dragging me across the mat. So I literally had to hit the quick release like that. And then I was out. And then he was just like, and he just threw him over the, because it's 2 walls are cage and 2 walls are walls. Right? So there's a wall.
Yeah.
And then it's a cage and a cage. The like chain link fence. He like threw it over into the other mat. Over. I was like, we got it. So I had to pay it forward. Poor Dio.
Dio got the brunt of that.
Poor Dio. He decided to wear headgear, so I drug him across the mat with his headgear.
What is this coming from? Like,
I was like, I paid it forward finally. And then Dio's like, just because you're an abused child doesn't mean that you have to abuse.
Oh man, fun stuff.
So good. There's so many quirky things that happen there that are just amazing, and you have a way of making it fun, and I love my time there. It is not a chore to get up and get there. It is not hard to get on the mat, and as soon as you break the threshold of whatever door, as soon as you're in it, you're home. You can be at a temp place. It can be at the old stomping grounds. Doesn't matter where it is. As soon as you go in there and I see John standing there with his gi, with nobody else has a gi on.
Yeah.
You look over there and see Chris already sweaty because he's already done 5 rounds, and he runs over, like gives you a hug, like he's like just excited to see everybody.
Right.
And seeing Tristan and Nancy just over off the side, those two just sit on the mat and talk.
It's a whole movie just walking in there, right?
It's
a movie just walking in there.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
it's cool.
It's like you can look around, you can see like everybody, you can look around really quick. Everybody left their junk outside the door.
Yeah.
And they came inside for the same thing.
Right.
Get their dose that day. And it's
a medicine.
It's amazing. It's a medicine.
It's a medicine.
Thank you for that.
Thank you.
I am in full 100% sincerity. I am so appreciative of you and the stuff that you've taught me. You and there's others that have had input.
Absolutely.
And Jimmy and Junior and Morgan.
Yeah.
Ricky and even
so many.
Even Nam. Nam has taught me a lot. Positive Tom or Angry Tom, how you want to look at it. He watches these, by the way. He always tells
What's up, Tom?
He's had a lot of input.
Yeah.
And it's just but it still boils down to there's a central point for that. My major port of entry for jiu-jitsu is you. And so I love it. So question for you. How can people find you?
How can people find me? Instagram. I've got a personal, which I have no problem giving out, and Sublux Jiu Jitsu. It's at Sublux Jiu Jitsu.
Subluxt is Subluxt.
Yeah. Dislocated, right?
Dislocated.
Subluxt, just spelled a little bit differently.
Yep. So Zach will make sure he's get up on the screen. So Sublux Jiu Jitsu.
And then at cbaker119. Same thing. Again, I appreciate the forum. I appreciate this talk as we always have. It's fun. There is a Sublux Jiu Jitsu NorCal. That's Jacob.
Gotta check that out though too.
But check them out. They've got some good stuff going on up there. It's a process, whether you're building a brand, a business, and things like that. And, that's hopefully the future is continuing to build that up. What that looks like is in process. But that is the plan. I'd love to get more stuff out there, videos and stuff. I just love to get out and train a lot of times. And it's funny because I don't focus on that as much as I should. And I'm getting people poking me for that, right? I'm going to build some stuff out, some digital stuff out that people can have and take and understand my approach to jiu-jitsu.
We can do it on Friday if you want. We can film a couple, have Raul run some camera if you want to do something. I'll be your dummy.
Raul? Yeah. I'm just kidding.
Have him film it. You could beat up on me and have him.
No, that'd be awesome. Yeah, that's the plan. Really, just to kind of branch out a little bit with that and see where that goes. My approach is probably wildly different than a lot of others. Maybe not. I hope that it's not.
It is. It's different.
But, it's different.
It's wildly different.
Wildly different.
Yeah, I think that it's really good for people to see that there's somebody doing it where they don't overcook it.
Yeah.
It's
easily done, overcooking. And I try not to do that.
Yeah, I think everybody should be exposed to that at some point, just your style of jiu-jitsu, because it's different. It's different. Mark Lilly, he's still in touch. He's just like, dude, how's Craig? Dude, I love that guy. I can't wait to get out there and get some more. Yeah, the Tony.
Yeah.
From Dallas, black belt that came in from Dallas. He was asking. Those guys are all like, dude, what happened to the gym? Hey, how's Craig? Everything okay? You guys still doing your thing? Yeah, I got to get back out there. So yeah, so many guys are always like hitting me up. Hey, tell Craig I said hi.
That's
and
awesome.
everything else. So
yeah, I mean, the energy and stuff you brought is massive, and I can't thank you enough for that, man. Because
I love it.
What you do in there, on so many different levels, not only from just being a part of that journey with me, but helping on that journey, right? Mentoring the conversations that we have and how we approach the next level. What? Are you mumbling?
I'm
not. Mumble over there.
Nope, I didn't say a word.
But thank you so much. I appreciate this.
Before you go,
yes,
for putting up with me for 2 episodes.
Dang,
got you a Scott San Diego T-shirt.
I love it.
Everybody's got to rip one of those once in a while.
Yes, I do.
Scott San Diego, got you a small.
Yeah. I didn't know if did you use the parachute material of theirs?
No, you had this one made.
Yeah, that's a double XL.
This is not a double XL.
It's a double XL.
It is not a double XL.
Look at the tag.
It is not.
It is.
No. And I look, you're going to say, hey, made you look. Yeah. I don't know.
It's double XL. You left the tag in it? They're removable, right? Didn't Vonnie get on you for that?
Yeah. I'm too lazy. They don't let me have scissors.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You don't need scissors. Pull it out.
They don't let me have scissors.
Yeah.
I don't have the grip strength to pull it out.
That's probably true.
Hope you guys have enjoyed these 2 episodes with my coach, Craig Baker. Until the next time that we get to run into each other, I want you to make sure that you are staying dangerous.